Hello, everyone. It's Twanna Carter, anxiety and career coach. And this time I am a lot less nervous than I was the first time I watched that clock countdown. I have two screens. And so you'll see me glance over here sometimes, but the first time I watched the clock countdown, even though I knew it was me going live, oh well, anyway, what can I say? Sometimes anxiety hits you in ways that you don't necessarily think about or expect, and sometimes it hits you in ways you do think about or expect, right? And so, I'm Twanna Carter. I'm an anxiety and career coach, and I'm a coach for women who are fed up with their anxiety holding them back. And what they want is to overcome their stress and their doubt so they can get their life back on track for success and happiness. Because you don't have to sacrifice one for the other. Too many people think, well, yeah, if I'm going to be happy, I got to make some sacrifice, and I can't get as much success as I want. Or if I want that success and I go for it, I'm going to have to sacrifice happiness. No, you don't have to sacrifice one for the other, right? And so today's topic is, this is part two. If you were here for part one, and I'm going to tell you what we talked about in part one, but this is part two on simple ways that you can stop yourself from overthinking, because overthinking can make you unhappy, right? And it can really affect your success and hold you back from success. So if you have questions or if you have comments, please feel free to drop them in the chat box, which for me is like to the right of everything going on, but for you it might be under. I'm not sure how you're seeing this. Well, let's see. I can't tell where your chat box is, but mine is right next door. It's actually to the right, but yours may be under. In any case, at any rate, if you have a question or a comment, like something you want me to answer, drop it in that chat box. So if you missed it on Tuesday when I talked about the first 5 ways of ways to stop yourself from thinking, you can actually go to my page, my Facebook page, my business Facebook page, Twanna Carter, professional and personal coaching, and just zoom down and catch first part of this. But for those of you who missed it, we're going to go over real quickly what we talked about on Tuesday. So the first one we talked about is being aware when you are overthinking. Can't fix what you're not aware of, right? And also, try to, I won't say stuff, no, not try, it's just like do or die. Stop thinking of all the things that could go wrong and think of the things that could go right. Very important. Distract yourself with happiness, things that make you feel good, you know, just reading a book, walking, exercising, anything that kind of flips your mind off that overthinking. Stop those thoughts. Just distract yourself with happiness, whatever makes you feel good. Could be prayer, could be meditation, could be walking, could be talking on the phone, could be a little quick game, whatever it is that distracts you and makes you happy. Do that, right? Put things into perspective. And sometimes you can ask yourself a question when you do that. Like, okay, in 15 years, will this really matter? All the overthinking I'm making is one decision. In 15 years, will it really matter? Shoot, in 10 months, will it really matter? Asking yourself those questions helps your mind to start putting things into perspective so that you're not making a mountain out of little molehills, right? It's just a regular decision you need to make. But if you're tired, if you're sleepy, you can just overthink things. And so it's all about putting things into perspective. And so the last one we talked about on Tuesday was stop waiting for perfection. You will wait forever and a day trying to be perfect. How do I know? Ask me. I do know. I suffered from this quite a bit. The thing is to make a decision, just act on it. Right, wrong, indifferent, take an action, get the ball rolling. If it's not quite right, you're in the midst of rolling, correct it and keep going. Right? So those were the first 5 ways we talked about, ways to stop overthinking. So we've got 5 more for you today. So without further ado, let me just say I do appreciate you all for joining the live. I see some people out there watching. Thank you, thank you. And I always like to say, those of you who catch me on the replay, thank you for catching that replay and spending some time with me, as today we talk about 5 more ways to stop overthinking. So number 6 is change your view of fear, right? Most of us don't do a lot of things because we're afraid. Or if you have anxiety, you struggle with anxiety, there's just so much that goes into that. This can go wrong, that can go wrong. And if it goes wrong, and I know for me, I have social anxiety, so I'm always concerned. I was always concerned about how people viewed me. I never wanted people to see me as stupid. I never wanted people to look down upon me. And I felt that making a mistake was like the fear that I had. It was the worst thing in the world that can happen to me. And it wasn't until I learned to change my view of fear. You know what? If I make a mistake, just correct it and go on. If someone's angry with me for life because I made a mistake, probably wasn't a real friend anyway. What does it matter? It's about, stopping the overgeneralizing of what a failure would do for the rest of your life. And I'm going to look like this. It only is pertinent for this particular incident. Change how you look at it and keep it going, right? It is about risk. People who are really good risk takers, they understand fear. I'm going to take a risk and do this. If I fail, okay, we'll pick up and move on. If I take a risk and it works, yes, I can keep it going. But for those of us that overthink, failure is like the end of the world. We fear failure. But if you can turn and start looking at the fear of failure into an opportunity, it's a challenge. If I do this and it works, great. If I do it as it doesn't quite work out like I want to, it's either a lesson or it's a blessing. Choose which one it is, apply that, and then move on, literally. It's like, how do you change your fear? If you fail, if you don't succeed in quite the manner that you wanted to, that experience is a lesson or it's a blessing. Pick out which one it is, apply the lesson, be thankful for the blessing, and then keep it moving, right? So that was number 6, change your view of fear. Number 7, it is a really good one that is helpful for people, right? So set your timer for like 5-6 minutes and then just sit there and think and worry and analyze and just have all these thoughts like, oh my God, what if this happens? What if that goes wrong? What if this happens? If that happens, what does it happen? Do that for like 5-6 minutes or so. Just like worst case, everything. Oh my gosh, what can happen? What can happen? What can go wrong? And when that timer goes off, right? Time's up. Stop worrying, stop analyzing, stop overthinking. Then pull out a paper and spend 10 minutes writing down everything that you felt could go wrong and what could go wrong after that and what could go wrong after that and what could go wrong after that. Write all of that down. 10 minutes. All the thoughts that you had were overthinking. Write them all down. And then when you're done with all those thoughts, take a match to it, burn it up, sweep away the ashes and throw it away, and then do something else. Right? It is a way of just disintegrating all the worry, all the overthinking, all the analyzing. Write it all out, burn it up safely, right? You want to do that in your house and burn down your house, but in a safe place, in a fireplace, on the patio. If you can do that, you're on the deck, you got to be in a safe place. Take a match of that and burn it all up, sweep the ashes away, blow it away. Done worrying, done overthinking, and take some action. Do something, change where you were, preferably do something fun. Find something else to do and then change your mind's perspective because you're actively doing something else. Works like a charm, right? So that was number 7. And then number 8, this is what I really struggle with, is understand that you really cannot predict the future. Even if you say, well, if this goes wrong and then that goes wrong and then that can make that one and that can make that, it's like a domino effect. You just keep worried about this. You can't predict the future. You really could say that everything's going to go wrong and you get there and everything goes right. Great. If, say that 10 things go right, but 8 things don't go, 2 things don't. 8 out of 10 is not bad. Great. You can't predict whether it's 8 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 5 out of 10. You really can't predict it. But if you worry about it now, what you do is you lose valuable energy worrying about something you can't control anyway. It's valuable energy. I've noticed that the older I get, energy is very precious. It is just very precious to me. And it's even more so because I've wasted so much of my energy worrying about things I can't predict, I can't control. So really, worry about the now. If you want to read a really great book that talks about living in the now, Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now, is a fantastic book because a lot of people's like, I don't know how to live for now. I worry all the time. That book, The Power of Now, lays out strategies, tell you how to do it, how to get it accomplished, what it feels like. It is a wonderful book if you want to read how to deal with now and stop predicting the future. Mindfulness is another wonderful thing that you can do. Just mindfulness I generally start my clients off with about 2 minutes, two different times a day, about 4 minutes a day to be mindful. That's just to be fully present with where you are now. Not worry about overthinking what's going on out there in the future, just now. Two different times a day. That is another great way of figuring out how to stop predicting the future that you can't control anyway. Don't throw away your energy worrying about something you can't fix, that you can't, because even if something goes wrong in the future, you can't predict it. It hasn't happened, right? So spend your time being happy now. Spend your time on doing things that makes you happy now. And if that doesn't work, then spend your time, a little bit of time, doing something for someone else, volunteer, that makes them happy. Normally, one of those two things is going to make you happy, right? So number 9 is accept your best. There is a quote by Maya Angelou, and I typically misquote it. My clients can tell you I love this one. I'm going to tell you my take on it first, and then I'll tell you what Maya Angelou actually says. My quote is, you did what you know. When you know better, you do better. So Maya Angelou actually says, do the best you can. Then when you know better, you do better. She said it better. Mine got a few more words in it. But the gist of it is this. You can't be perfect. You will never be perfect. Do what you know to the best of your ability and let it go. Right? Because literally, you can't do better until you know better anyway. And it's no sense in wasting energy on, I didn't know better and I couldn't do that better at the time. Waste of energy. Lesson or the blessing. Figure out which one it is, accept that you've done the best you can, and then move on. Really, move on. Do the best you can, then when you know better, you do better. But you can't do the best you can if you're stuck in analysis paralysis and overthinking and never do anything, right? You got to act and do something. And you just do the best you can and live with that. Literally. Because the thing is this, you can't be experienced if you don't make mistakes. We cannot be experienced if we don't make mistakes. How do you make mistakes? Accept that you're going to do the best you do, take an action, do it, and then correct course after that, right? Best way to stop overthinking. Understand that you are doing the best you can, right? And so number 10, yes, it's number 10. The last one is wonderful. I have my clients do this every session. Be grateful. Yes, because you can't be regretful and be grateful at the same time, because they just really don't mix, right? And so I do have clients that come in and say, well, I don't have anything to be grateful for. There's nothing. And I always start off the question like, really? Are you sure? There's just nothing. Can't think of a thing. And then I always lean over and ask them, did you wake up this morning? See, that starts it right there, because yes, you woke up this morning. You can be grateful about that. Are you still breathing? Well, yes, I'm still breathing. You can be grateful about that. Can you see? Can you hear? Can you smell? Can you walk? Can you talk? All things that we take for granted, but all things you can be grateful for. Once you start off, then you understand that there's a lot you can be grateful for every morning and every day, right? So really, if you really want to be, like take off on this, be grateful, write that stuff down, write down, keep in a journal what you're grateful for. Even better, find an accountability partner that you can be grateful with. Okay, my goal is I'm going to send you 5 things every day that I'm grateful for. You send me 5 things that you're grateful for. Keep it volleying back and forth, because now you're both helping each other to be grateful. When you're being grateful, you stop overthinking. Just like that, right? You stop the overthinking. Works like a charm. And just that piece of it starts to make you feel better, right? So yeah, do you have a bed to sleep in? Did you have food today? Many of us have jobs that we should be grateful about, even if we don't necessarily like our job. Be grateful that you have one, because 40-something million people don't. So it's starting with the small things of being grateful for. That is where you start, right? And that sharing it with somebody else, then you have a witness to the things that you're grateful for, and you can be a witness for the things that they're grateful for. And in that process, you are not overthinking. Works like a charm. Okay. So really at the end of the day, overthinking is something that can happen to all of us. I can do it. I'm an introvert. I love being in my headspace, and I will tell people, shh, I need to talk to you, get this out of my headspace and see what I'm dealing with. How do you see it? Because I need to stop overthinking. Friends can help. They actually can help with that, right? So really, these 10 ways that we talked about, There are different ways that you can stop overthinking. You can choose to use one. If all 10 work for you, great. If 5 work for you, great. If 4 works for you, great. Whatever works for you, that's what matters, right? Because it does ward off the negative feelings and you ward off the anxiousness and that stressful thinking. And really, you can turn it around to something positive and something useful and productive, right? So, if you heard all this and you're like, yeah, but I still struggle with overthinking, right? If you feel like it's your time to stop overthinking, is it time for you to ditch anxiety? Is it time for you to level up? If you're there, you've done it, that it's just not working for you, sign up for a complimentary session with me, right? I do a complimentary coaching consultation with you, and it's really about clarifying strategies for your success and for your happiness. Because I said at the top, you don't have to sacrifice one for the other. And there's no shame in helping and reaching out for someone that can help you. That's how I got here. I didn't get here by myself. I love to say, yes, I got here all by myself. Actually, I got here because I reached out to people and they helped me to get here, helped me with the overthinking. And my sister was really good about, really, what do you need to talk about to get it out and go there, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this link to, and I got the right link this time. It is a link to my calendar where you can schedule your complimentary coaching consultation, and we really can figure out a plan. You will leave with the plan that works for you, a clarity with the plan that actually works for you. Stop your overthinking, to really dish that anxiety, and then start getting on with success and happiness, because you don't have to sacrifice for one for the other. All right. So join me next week, ladies and gentlemen. I will be back here next week, Wednesday, about 7:30, where we'll be talking about the link between anxiety and hypnosis, right? Yes, let's talk about anxiety and hypnosis next week. I will put up the link and I'll put it on my calendar. So just look for that. And thank you, everyone, for being here and watching. Thank you. Thank you. And again, for those of you who catch me on replay, I appreciate it. Twanna Carter, Anxiety and Career Coach, saying have a great weekend. Take care. Bye-bye.